I am in the threatening that I know who I am, but I don't have a nice place to dwell with that I am myself ascended into that I know who I am. I have a problem I didn't see coming because it doesn't aliven the threatening. That the strangers around myself in the landlording of this apartment, they don't accept disclosure of leverage as payment of rent. They accept disclosure of leverage as non-payment of rent, and I am evicted by the first of the month of July, year 2025. And I don't know you that way because that's myself's leverage being moved out of an address that was in dispute that caused the leverage to be disclosed. Well, you don't acknowledge that you forced the disclosure on yourself to warn yourself that this is the leverage that is in view now. It's not really counting the money. That means you counted someone else's money and you just gave a receipt and said it was yours. And I'm talking about landlording by Geri, Jerry, Fremont Gardens Apartments in Las Vegas, Nevada. And then there's also Moser, which is not paying out a key to myself. And you have the last name Moser is not due, but they're still using the last name Moser. Well, you don't pay out a key to myself, and that I have to pay rent extortion, and I don't have any money from Moser to do that at this time. The money was extorted past its count, and that's how I shut it off in the banking. And you think that I'm responsible for paying the amount of leverage within the money that was appointed to myself by Moser when the charges exceeded the amount that was appointed, and it was no longer payment and permission and everything in agreement, so I shut it off. And that was in the year 2002. This is the year 2025, and you have not paid the extortion in the meters that you think that I just didn't take care of myself. This sounds really unreasonable for that you're living in my houses as Moser, and those are all my keys. You're named Moser after me. I'm not named Moser after you. Well, if you're not paying out house keys to myself and you just want me to pay extortion because you don't actually want anyone to pay out a key to a house to myself, there are other people who are owing Moser keys who don't have the last name Moser, and you couldn't get any one of them to pay out a key to myself, any of the Mosers. It doesn't just have to be Becky who's going around and meeting all your harassments and they all owe me their house keys. It's true that you didn't make anybody else give me a key, and you want me to pay extortion on a key every day of every month of every year for 25 years, and you think that's not your problem, and I think it is only your problem. I am disclosing my leverage right here. I am none higher than me, deceased, always if you see me. I am just letting you know that's your money at this point. I don't have any counting of cash to give you anymore. I can just tell you that is who I am and how you can see me at all. Well, you are the ones who were in the debt and you were negligent and didn't pay it for all these years, since year 2000 or 2002, if you want to count it. That's when I shut off the leverage of the agreement that I would be paying direct deposit money out to the landlording. I'm just telling you that the money was exhausted. You didn't acknowledge that. You think that's my problem, that I don't have enough money to pay my own landlord. Well, since when do I have a landlord that's charging money? Wouldn't a landlord owe that they pay out a property in dispute? They have to pay it out. So you want me to pay a landlord what? Money from a bank? I'm not a bank teller. I'm not a bank manager. How much money do you think I can give them from a bank? You don't acknowledge that you're burglars and some of you belong in the bank and that you left a long time ago. I'll tell you what my order is. If I need something, I'll tell you what I need. If you didn't already give it to me before I say something about it. I don't actually owe you extortion because you have problems. Yes, do you want to abduct myself and stuff me in the trunk of a car? Got it. I'm none higher than me deceased is my leverage that you're not going to do that to me. So what about you? Because you don't have anything to fight over except that you don't want somebody to be over you. Yeah, but you don't have yourself deceased that way. You can't say I'm over everybody who's not myself. You're not deceased that way. That's not true because you're not deceased that way. And you want to keep fighting with people that they're not going to tell you no, and that if you don't like it, you're going to punish them and they're not in a jail and a prison. And what are you going to do to them in trafficking? What are you going to do to me in human trafficking because I'm not in a jail and a prison? In jail and prison, you have threats to yourself if you want to do something to me. In public, you don't have threats to do anything to me for any reason that would be threatening to yourself.